Episode 6 From Beneath. With the Colossus in serious need of fuel, Kaz, Tora, along with Orca and Flix, travel to Dragor 3 to acquire a refillment from Flix's family's refinery. There, they meet Flix's cousin Flex, who is now in charge of the business. Flex tells Flix that the refinery has hit it big due to them now deep core mining, something that was previously never done before. However, that news angers Flix, who's worried about the dragons that, according to Gazo legend, are said to live near the core and could be awakened. Flex, on the other hand, is a non-believer, and writes off the stories of the dragons as nothing but a fairy tale. He then offers to give Flix some fuel on the condition that he and his friends help him with his damaged drill near the core. Kaz and Tora agree, and everyone along with Flix travel deep underground to where the drill is, with the expectation being that this will be an easy job. Then, due to some serious ongoing earthquakes on Dragor 3, Tora and Orca get separated from the group and are forced to return back to the refinery to grab a transport. Meanwhile, Kaz, Flix, and Flex end up encountering a family of the legendary Carnyx dragons who prove to be pretty dangerous creatures. Fortunately, the dragon's major weakness ends up being light, and with luckily Tora and Orca arriving back in time, the light from their transport shuttle scares away the dragons completely back to the deep core. After now realizing that the dragons are in fact real and pose a danger, Flex cancels any further plans of deep core mining. In addition to that, he also shows his thanks for Flix and Kaz's help by giving them all the fuel they would have wanted, and sees the Colossus crew back on their way home. This episode was very comedy heavy, especially with all the little jokes we kept hearing from Flix and Orca, which I gotta say were fantastic and made the episode all the more enjoyable to watch. I also appreciated that the episode provided humor that people of all ages could enjoy, whether it be slapstick humor from Kaz, the comedic bickering between Flix and Flex, or the foolish naive nature of Flex's employees. But in addition to the comedy, it was also nice to get some serious moments in there too, and a sense of urgency of the dragons, which really gave off a Jurassic Park dinosaur kind of vibe to the episode. That initially took me by surprise, but I liked what I was seeing. My only gripe with this episode, even though it's a small one, is if it was a live action movie, then Flex would have most likely had been eaten by one of the dragons. I think him surviving somehow from the dragon attempting to devour him was contributed to this being a kid's cartoon, because otherwise that would have been graphic and ruined the whole tone the episode was going for, so I'll give it a pass for that. Also, while not really anything against this episode, I did find it interesting that Dragor 3 wasn't invaded by the First Order, especially considering how rich in fuel the planet was. Then you'd think it would be a planet that the First Order would have wanted to claim. Then again, I'm very glad we didn't get to see them here. I will say this, that this was the first episode that hinted or implied about Orca and Flix's gay relationship. Now, supposedly, this was already common knowledge before for some people, but I don't know, I suppose I was oblivious to the hints before in season 1 or just missed them completely. Either way, it's tastefully done here. It's not forced and actually feels natural and done well, so hats off to the writers on that. Overall, this episode was pure fun. Sure, it was an obvious filler episode, but I liked it for what it was. Not to mention, any episode we do get that features a new planet and its local alien race or species, then in most cases, I'll like that episode. Just because it reminds me of something we'd get to see a lot in the Clone Wars. So it goes without saying that I wouldn't mind seeing a few more episodes just like this one in the future. But that was my take on this episode of Star Wars Resistance. Let me know what you all thought about it in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.